Alright guys, and here we go with a live look at Dying Light the Beast. So perhaps as I've mentioned on previous streams, so I like Dying Light 2 over the first game, primarily because it is more focused on combat. Kind of like when I was reviewing it at the time, it felt like first game really wants you to parkour, and yeah, you have some occasional fights with the infected, but it really wants you to run around and avoid them. Second game is more like, yeah, you have more of a fighting option, and here, well, fighting is much more of an option, so that's gonna be pretty awesome, and yeah, it just feels even more combat oriented, and that's really quite enjoyable. Really having a pretty good time filming for the demonstration. I'll probably make another one, probably coming maybe tomorrow, hopefully, focusing on some other aspects I haven't quite showed in the previous one. And yeah, so Pogshark, it won't be an edited review, it's because it is very similar to Dying Light 2, but I will be making a commentary video, basically kind of like this, like the more of a live format like I did with Maximum Action and some other games. So kind of in that format, which is much like this stream, just minus the chat interactions and a bit more on point as it usually is. So yeah, there will be a commentary video. I do already have a bunch of points written down, a bunch of things I want to talk about, and some of them we'll be seeing right here today. I think I have to lower the volume a little bit, even more. Usually 5 is good. So I think we'll just be... thank you very much, yeah. Shanatova to you too, yeah. And Gmar Khatimatova, very soon. Oh no, yeah, we gotta have early morning. I'm not a fan of the night thing in this game. But yeah, glad it is an easy option, so you can just avoid the nights as much as you can. Had one mission where I was forced to go out in the night with all of the big infected. So as you may have seen in the demonstration, we have 3 points of amputation per limb. Heads can come off. Okay, perhaps he wants to be my showcase victim, so 3 points of amputation per limb. Come on, okay, here we go, yeah. So we have that. The heads come off. I'll continue with that subject. And then, so the big focus is actually on dismemberment and variations. As you may have seen in the video, there are no wounds. You basically have the overlay. So basically, if you have no variation, if the weapon can't activate dismemberment in that specific instance, you basically have just this kind of a generic boring overlay. But we do have a whole bunch of variations, many of them. And yeah, it is much more of a factor than even in Dying Light 2 after the, I think it was called Gut Feeling update, where they added a whole bunch of variations. And here we have even more of a focus on that, so I've actually seen that you have even some very mild variations, so I cut a guy, I think it was kind of from afar. I saw like a very small cut appear on his chest. Once again, entirely pre-made stuff, nothing dynamic here, but you basically have small variations too. And one perhaps sure way to activate some of them, at least the blunt ones, is to remove all weapons from here, yeah, so just remove everything. All I have is feasts and by the way, the blunt variations are absolutely brutal, are absolutely gnarly. Yeah, I'll probably have to pause for it in the commentary video, but as you may have seen, there was kind of a mild variation on her face. Yeah, so as you can see, like, there are some devastating face variations. Come on, get turned over. You may have seen, there are some very devastating face variations, but there are some very mild ones too. As we have on this variant. If I punch her again, it activates some more, so yeah, there was really quite a bit of attention put into just the sheer amount of variations. So a big focus on the probably tomorrow's demonstration is the ragdolls, and they are fun. I really don't remember how they were in the previous game, but they are fun here, so I went around and just, you know what, I won't. I perhaps want to land someone on a table. Maybe even her? Yeah, here we go. A bit of chaos in the coffee shop. And as you may have seen right now, we have some death animations followed by ragdolls. In the end, as you've seen in the video, there are some quite nice death animations. Like the one for losing a head is quite pretty. And in the case of this exploding guy, there actually are no chunks of anything. You only have a very pretty, very big stain, but all you have is a stain. In the case of the that guy exploding. You know, good point about stamina, because you are basically playing as a Kyle Crane on steroids, so it would make sense to alright, get away. Oh, that's... I hope it doesn't finish. Please don't finish. It's gonna make... Just stay down. Don't bug me. Okay, yeah. So that's probably gonna make tomorrow's demonstration. Look at that. So, okay, yeah, so I will say, it really is... The ragdolls are fun here, and as I mentioned, I wasn't quite testing as much the ragdolls in Dying Light 2, but man, here they are just fun. I have like probably 4 or 5 like really good moments like this. I will say, regular kick to me just feels okay. Once again, I'm not a huge fan of the series, so I can't really immediately compare it with Dying Light 1, 2. But I will say it does feels okay here, like I have no issue with the simple kick. But the double leg cannon just sends them flying, and it is glorious. Perhaps just slightly reminds me of the leg cannon in Overgrowth. That is kind of a channel classic here. Like, nothing wrong with a more mild kick, in my opinion. Yes, so one thing that perhaps would feel more satisfying in this instance is if he fell and he hit that tank on his back. If that began the whole sequence of burning and exploding. Because I did drop those guys a few times and hasn't really happened, and would just feel satisfying if you drop him, you watch down, he either starts burning and then exploding after like 20 seconds, or just right away falls down and boom. He turns into a big ass splat that you would see even more clearly from here. And by the way, as you've probably seen in the demonstration, we do have splats for... Okay, so me... Alright, so me landing on him just activated that, but him falling on its own didn't. In the end, those kicks do indeed activate dismemberment and variations. We're gonna have at least 2 of those fast running guys coming at me every time. And of course, how can I forget? In addition to the dismemberment and the many variations, you have the, as I mentioned, the very mild ones, you have the very mid ones, and you have the very big ones. If you'll kindly get cut in half. Come on, bro, come on. Come on, dude, come on. Ah. Not for me, do it for the audience. We have some people watching. Do it for the audience, please. Here we go, so as far as I saw, we have a horizontal variation, and we have that vertical one. And so here we have the, well, you know, it's not, yeah, and that's kind of actually appropriate. It isn't an entirely clean vertical one, it's kind of like partially severed, and as you can see, the shoulder variation remained on that half, and that's in the no games. Then do have a very nice actually stamp here with Reeves, Morgans. Usually the meat around the ribs is quite good, and if you are into organ meats, they are very, very highly nutritious. You have a whole bunch of nice zombie meat. I will say I'm not a big fan of guns here. But I do like the melee. I do very much like the kicking and the ragdolls. And the fun moments that can make, and particularly on the rooftops. And kicking zombies off, it's just so damn fun. So I think I'll do that for a bunch of time. In the end, the gore system of Dead Island 2 is gonna reign supreme for a very, very long time. It's really, it's that fuck you AAA budget put into gore. As we have in Last of Us. There we have it in a more grounded setting. And Dead Island 2 is basically that huge as AAA budget put into a gloriously messy zombie game. By the way, I think there was kind of a variation. Oh, look at that, look at that. Oh, yeah. Come on, come on, come on, come on. It was a beautiful variation, and I have no way. You know, like, if you're watching it on rewind, after the stream is done, pause in that jaw variation with the axe. Oh, just so dang beautiful. Yeah, I'm trying to... so usually have that for so that variation for blunt weapons. Anyway, it's usually activated as a blunt variation, but as you can see, the thing about those pre-made variations, they have limitations. They have their issues, absolutely. Basically, once again, as I mentioned, if you hit somewhere and there is no pre-made variation and the weapon doesn't activate dismemberment, you basically get nothing. You basically just get this lame ass overlay. But the hand-crafted variations are just a work of art. Particularly the blunt ones, and you know what? Let's go right now for just directly a blunt showcase. Yeah, George, it is correct. I really did not like Dying Light 1. That's true. Perhaps it changed, because I reviewed it in the first year and apparently it was supported for a whole bunch, and I really... After finishing the review, I haven't touched Dying Light 1. So perhaps things have changed. Yeah, so we do actually have Beast Mode, and the one disappointing thing about Beast Mode... I'm gonna jump down just to have more to tear apart. And by the way, in that finisher, you actually don't have a hole go right through the character, as you can see. So I had that finisher, supposedly arm went through her chest. It does not leave a hole. Back went. There are issues. Anyway, let's just mangle up a whole bunch of characters and perhaps showcase some damaged blunt variations. And we have a whole bunch of stages for those, so... Yeah, for example, that guy, there's one guy who's leaving. I'm actually gonna try to keep him alive if I can at all. Because his variation is actually beautiful. As I'm saying, a work of art with love put into it. You know, you can have... Oh, I hope it wasn't him. Ah, probably was him. Ah, it probably was him. Ah, shit. Yeah, he had a prettier variation. Ah, damn it, I killed my pretty variation guy. Keep trying, though. Because his was like... Okay, how about you? What does your variation look like? Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, bro. So, yeah, so basically an entirely busted up jaw. And yeah, I think his one was kind of different because it was like just a half of a face. I think a half of a jaw was actually remaining there. Perfectly good. I gotta keep testing to see that, to try to make it happen again, actually. And yes, Sid and Kitten sounds are absolutely amazing, here. Juicy is indeed the correct way to describe it, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, it doesn't even have to be a very devastating fall, but just a blunt being sent flying by legs who leave that stain. Ah, come on, I'm trying to get something very, very specific. Getting a bit of a run. Yeah, you... there's no way to avoid dying for the sake of the gore testing. And so what do we have? Oh, this guy is busted up beautifully. Ah, come on. Oh yeah. He's messed up, but the brain does appear to be still intact. Alright, as for upcoming games I'm looking forward to, we actually have some new footage of Alcahest, and as I mentioned, still remains to be seen, but I'm quite rooting for it. Oh yeah, look at that. Like his face was punched in, just so beautiful. And yes, beautiful is indeed the correct description here. As you can see, we kinda have like some milder variations. And it went for the punched in phase 1. Let's see the variations, if there are even any variations for the army guys. Anyway. As I was about to say in the previous time, so the first time I had that beast mode thing, I was actually tearing them apart and now seeing the big variations too. And for whatever reason, every time after the first time, I'm only seeing like activation of the mid variations and activation of just regular dismemberment. I'm a bit of a run. Really could use some explosive. I do have a grenade, but I don't want to save it for the commentary video. Oh, she got messed up beautifully. So as far as I'm aware, there is a mod to have stuff remain. I'm not using it yet. I'm only using the mod for oh, he has like, once again, just a beautiful, like, kind of more mild variations. As I was saying, you just have... Oh no! YouTube, you have not seen that, you have not seen that, and you have not seen that. Yeah, good luck testing anything like that, so I think just grab the axe and I'm just chop everyone up. Yeah, the axe is a little bit more effective at crowd control. And like, as I was saying, pretty much everything physics related is just too lovely in this game. Oh, and here we have the horizontal cut in half variation actually. I was trying to make happen before. Here we go again. And I think we actually have a small chunk of the what's the English word? What's the English word? The ass bone area. I forgot the English word. Agan in Hebrew, Taz I think in Russian, and I forgot the English word for that, ass area bone. Another example of the cut in half variation, and this one actually doesn't look quite as good. I think that the other one with the more directional slice looks better. But still, in the heat of combat, the result will still be quite satisfying. Anyway, back to trying to activate some gnarly blunt variations. Back to trying to activate some gnarly blunt variations, as I was saying. I'm not sure why Beast Mode doesn't tear them apart to the big stuff as well. Oh, he's just a pretty guy, look at that, he's just a beautiful guy. So that's one beautiful blunt variation. I haven't seen anything that would resemble like broken bones, so I hit him in the limbs a whole bunch of times. I haven't seen like really something that would... Ah yeah, just pretty. Haven't really seen any... So basically, you have many of those variations be used for both the edged weapons and the blunt ones, so pretty sure I have this one used for for edged weapons too. Actually, there's only one way to find out. I think I've seen it, but you never know. Or you know, like maybe this one with the broken bone is actually specifically a blunt variation. Yeah, okay, so it's definitely not a blunt variation, as you can see. I just had it activate for the machete as well. So yeah, as I was saying, the variations, my impression was unfortunately correct. They are used interchangeably between both the edged weapons and the blunt ones. And it won't always look correct, and as I was saying, it basically has a whole bunch of limitations. But the biggest one, with the biggest one being where you have no variation, you hit, you have no response. As for the blood here, like, it's okay, it's not. So yeah, they actually made this video about making like fake blood and doing a whole bunch of scenes with that, but those are used entirely for the set pieces. So like for here, the blood here is you know, like it's pretty much the same. Come on, I think it's frozen. I think it's a preset body. Anyway, the blood here is pretty much same as we have in Dying Light 2. Like those are okay patterns, but they aren't gonna wow you. Also like okay blood pools, but most are kind of like circular-ish, who don't have the really amazing Last of Us style blood pools. Yeah, like those are okay patterns, but nothing to really blow anyone away, I think. And actually, basically what you'll have is just the response on the initial impact and the blood pool. I actually haven't saw that specific finisher. So basically, as I was saying, okay patterns, but nothing to really be blown away by. Same for blood pools. As you can see, they're okay, but they're not those kind of like ones where you see them and you just think, damn, that's amazing. And as I was beginning to say, basically all you have is that initial response on the impact and the butt pull. And you actually even have butt pulls for severed body parts. As you can see right here, so you have small paddles for those, which is a very lovely feature, but for example, if you like dismember someone and you kick him, send him flying, basically he's gonna be, you will be having a particle effect, but there won't be any further staining. So the mechanics for blood stuff is very basic. And I would say that so are the looks. Can I ignite with a spark if I just I can't ignite with a spark from a weapon, it seems. Yeah, not human. There is indeed combat against human enemies and it's not great. So basically, as I was saying, here, if you have a variation where you hit or where it registers the hit, then you have a response, but otherwise there's gonna be nothing. And in the case of human characters, you only have variations on the fatal impacts. So you can kind of like slice someone, you can whack them, and there's gonna be just a shitty overlay. Like, the combat flow against them is different. I have no issue with the combat flow, of course, they're gonna be fighting different than the undead. But when it comes to the response, particularly on the body, it's gonna be very lame, so you have even no mild variations, as far as I saw, on the human enemies. You only have, like, as I was mentioning, on the fatal hit, you have the same variations and the same dismemberment as we have here, as far as I saw. In the end, when I was filming for the demonstration, you know, I see that a bunch of, like, I think it was like 3 rednecks kind of aggroing me or robbing someone or whatever. I think, okay, yes, we're gonna be having a look at the body damage on clean characters. No. Just a boring overlay and variations and dismemberment on the fatal hit. Which is indeed disappointing. Oh no. Yeah, so the animation to regular transition is not always entirely smooth, as you can see. Not a huge issue, actually. And of course you do have a whole bunch of finishers for the various weapons, so that's the one you have for the machete. Have I showcased the axe ones, perhaps? I'm not sure. Find someone more isolated and more well lit. Okay, yeah, so, alright, so you guys were asking for human enemies. Here we go, so. Well, they fly off like literally everyone else. And I don't want to showcase where's my machete. Where's my knife? Come on. Get to the well-lit area, yep. Now, get your ass to the well-lit fucking area. Thank you. So, as you can see, just an overlay. Be stunned for me for a few seconds. You know what? I think I can largely see it. Basically, no variations, no like non-fatal cuts. Just the overlay. And on the fatal hit, we have ourselves that variation. Yeah, so as you can see, just an overlay on every hit, except for the fatal one. Oh! I mean, you know, like, of course I have to. As I was saying, let's see if he has perhaps... There's like a mod variation I haven't seen. Nah, just the... As you can see, just the overlay. You know, like I was seeing those clean characters, I was thinking, yeah, like perhaps I can have a clean showcase of the mechanics. Nope, nope. So human combat is not particularly pretty, I would say. As I was saying, for crowd control, beast mode is just glorious. Even though for whatever reason, as I was saying, I'm not able to activate the big variations. Oh, look at that! Look at that, so guys, just as I was talking, we have an activation of a big variation in the beast mode. Look at that. Not sure I've seen this one specifically. Look at that. I'm actually not sure I've seen this variation specifically. Interesting. Interesting. Perhaps, you know, like I was talking about human enemies, and we had like human enemy happen. I was talking about not seeing big variations on characters in beast mode. We had this happen, so let's talk about mugs, let's talk about the channel's the art store. Yeah, so as I was saying, we actually have a whole bunch of new very cool paintings. I'll have a few posted, maybe even tomorrow actually. I'll put up some of the new ones. We have a BMW M30, very new, beautiful BMW in a cloud of smoke, kind of very mystical. We have one of BMW E92 with the most explosive exhaust I perhaps have ever seen in my life. And there's gonna be a very cute print of a Vespa, of a cat sitting on a Vespa scooter, which is a new painting and it's gonna be absolutely adorable. So here's for the quick plug for the art store. As always, links are in the description. So let's get back to the comments. Brimstone, as I was mentioning in the beginning, not really that deep into Dying Light, but as I was saying, Dying Light 1 kind of like felt like it makes you, it wants to have you parkour around and in a very large part avoid the undead. Dying Light 2 was more combat oriented, so I did enjoy that one more. And now we have the Beast, which is even more combat oriented, so I enjoyed that even more. So that's basically my take on the series and the overarching gameplay. Like, as for the story, I really don't care about story. Yeah, like, whatever, it's there, it's okay. No objections. And the combat is fun, like, you know, if you had like combat focus and it sucked, if all it had was combat and the combat sucked, wouldn't be very fun. But that isn't the case here. That really isn't the case here. Like, the combat is fun. I'm enjoying it. Just once again, like, before the stream I played for like 2 hours, just running around the rooftops, fighting characters, pushing them off ledges, and just enjoying myself, and yeah, like, good stuff. And you know, if Dying Light 3 is gonna be even more combat oriented, and if we'll finally have better body damage, which is an issue in Dying Light 1, 2, all of them basically, I'm really gonna dig it. Once again, I love that animation. just beautiful, just beautiful. Actually, Captain AMVV, there's actually a mod to make stuff last longer. Not playing with it now, but I don't know, it exists. It's on Nexus, called I think Vaxis' Gore mod. And it makes stuff last longer, so you can find that on Nexus. I really have to edit for the commentary video. By the way, one thing that this game doesn't have, and I'm actually grateful it doesn't have, is climbing stamina. If you remember, it was a factor in Dying Light 2, it isn't a factor here, and it was just an annoyance there, so I'm glad it isn't a factor here. I will say, like, the body damage in that Island 2, that Island 2 is really the best we have so far. The limitations are really minor, very minor. I'm not gonna be busting any balls for that Island 2. It has some limitations, I talked about them, but really, it's great. That is what matters the most. The only one I'm actually kind of annoyed by is the fact that it isn't really used for the bullet spongy enemies, and you know, I've talked about that in the review. It could be the game to make big spongy characters tear apart beautifully. And, you know, you just basically, you know, you meet a bullet spongy character, like a very spongy one, your initial hits are basically give you the same damage of a cat scratch, essentially. And as it starts dropping in health, you begin seeing more serious damage, which, come on, like, it makes sense for them to have thicker skin, for sure, but I do expect, like, nice looking damage on every impact, and eventually, and essentially, slowly carving that motherfucker up. Which he didn't do, and I'm not happy about it. Though, you know, like, perhaps the biggest miss out in that otherwise masterpiece tier body damage system. Yeah, looking forward to Will. I'm not sure if he was So in the case of the trailer for Eel, I have seen, nice body damage for the regular enemies, but would that translate to the spongy ones? I'm not sure, and I think probably not, because it's not gonna be like Dead Island 2 tier damage. Just not gonna be that. But you never know, like, I'm keeping expectations low. But of course, I'm very much willing to be pleasantly surprised. And back to the rooftops and dropping the undead of them. And chopping them up. Yeah, once again, so what happened here? Did he lose anything? Ah, no. Just the overlay. So as I was saying, a way to really spice up the response for the for dropping the guys with the explosive tank on the back is to have it explode either on the impact or shortly after. It really just the regular fall makes it feel a little bit underwhelming, I would say. Anyway, back to perhaps trying out some more of the blunt headgore. Okay, so I will say, the grab, when the character has their face mangled, is quite impactful. Alright, so what happened to you? Yeah, it's the busted jaw variation. Beautiful. Yes, brimstone, zombies are very grabby indeed, and it is an annoyance. I'll say definitely overly so. Oh, yeah, so I actually want to finish her without mangling her head even further. Yeah, so that looks quite interesting. I do want to see. Okay, thank you. So her head is not mangled any further. I'll go for the legs. So we can have a clear look at that variation. Oh yes, so it's the one with the dangly eye. I have seen it before, and as I was saying, like, particularly in the case of the blunt variations for the face, they are crafted so beautifully. Like, there's a really sick fuck on the team of Taekwondo that was crafting those, and I adore that individual. Because you have so many variations for blunt head impacts. Here we go. Oh yeah, actually haven't even saw that one, huh? I saw it in Dying Light 2, not in this one. But yeah, as I was saying, so many beautiful head variations in this game. It's quite a sight to behold. Yeah, just look at that. They will say, when the reaction activates just right, anywhere on the body, Feels good for sure. And I'm really hoping that for Dying Light 3, and yeah, I gotta say, like, after playing this, it's, you know, if Techland isn't gonna be doing Warhound, which unfortunately, probably not gonna be happening, and please, Dying Light 3 with some form of a dynamic damage system. Once again, doesn't have to be Dead Island 2 tier, but I think some form of multiplayer damage is very much doable. And the, once again, the hit reactions and the impacts and the ragdolls are very good, actually. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Really, Techland, Dying Light 3, please, with, you know, even more focus on combat. And some form of dynamic body damage. Doesn't have to be on the level of Dead Island 2. Just, you know, like, be more dynamic and... Oh! Just the busted up jaw. Thought it was something prettier. So, Dude Stick, I will say, like, gore-wise, to a mild degree, you know, like, if you've played Dying Light 2 and you expect a huge upgrade in gore, nah, not really. Like, the hit reactions are better, the, I think the rectals are better, perhaps? As I was saying, once again, a lot more variations, but not a huge step up, but I will say, as I was saying multiple times, it is more focused on combat, which is something, as you see, I hugely enjoy. And for whatever reason, I can't really quite put my finger on what and why, I'm kind of enjoying the flow of combat here more than I do in Dying Light 2. And once again, I liked Dying Light 2, absolutely, but something about the flow of combat here just works for me more. And of course you have the Beast mode, which is just perfect for clearing out a gathering. So if you have a bit of a crowd bugging you, you have a good solution. Here we go, so, as I was saying. And in boss fights, once again, in boss fights, the Beast mode is just... a very lovely way to deal with the bullet spongy bastards. Just a lovely way. And here he is, showcasing his beautiful head variation, look at that. Yeah, just exposed brains, broken skull, dangling eye. Once again, like, someone at Techland was working on those, was handcrafting those. And they are absolutely beautiful. And once again, for the 100th time, the variations-based system does have its limitations, but in the case of blunt weapons versus head, you can only admire the work the beautiful work of art that was done. And as I was saying, for anyone who perhaps missed out at the beginning, those guys explode just into a huge ass stain, so beautiful. Huge ass stain, but no chunks, no gibbs, no nothing. Guys, what the hell? So that is indeed a bit of an issue, for sure. But for obliterations, I will say not a bad stain at all. So you know, just some chunks, some gibbs scattered around, some staining below the gibbs that are scattered around, and you basically got yourself a nice obliteration. But once again, you know, like the gibbs is the part that is lacking here, and it doesn't last for terribly long. But we do have mods for that. GTH XY, so as I was saying, it is a variations based approach. So you know, you hit them. If there is a primitive variation, beautiful result, but if there is no variation, you get nothing. So not the Dead Island 2 like, and gonna take a while before we really have... Before Dead Island 2-esque gore is something we can even realistically expect to be seeing often. It's gonna take a while because it's a very complex system. But as I was saying, I do think that expecting some degree of multiplayer damage is not really at this stage, not a wild request. So I think and as I was saying, the variations are used interchangeably, so that one perhaps, you know, like if it was just kind of like a shaving off of the scalp, not just the scalp and a bit of the skull, would have made sense. But you know, we had the kind of like dangling guy, it was semi-crushed, so not all variations really make sense entirely well for all weapons. Which is once again a limitation of the variation-based approach compared to something more dynamic. So I think I'll perhaps just drop a few more off rooftops, and I'll be doing my conclusion. For now, there's gonna be a commentary video too. And of course, not to compare with any real-life instances of people being dropped from rooftops. That isn't what I mean in any way. Just in case it may not be entirely clear. If I can kind of like come here and I'll launch him flying and perhaps see what that does. Nah, you know, like it's okay, but not. Had a bit of an obstacle. And he went out with his body actually. That's... It's always more fun together, and YouTube, you haven't seen anything, you haven't seen anything. I forgot to turn on streamer mode. That is on me. Yeah, it's kind of like couch therapy, you know? Just regular couch therapy. And so, with that, we shall conclude, and yeah, so as I was saying, when it comes to gore improvements, they're pretty mild, they aren't huge. Like, they are notable, they do make a difference, but they're not like a massive, like a huge upgrade, like the, if you remember the patch for 6 days in Fallujah, which added from basically no spinning a very very good realistic spinning system. That isn't the case here, but the improvements here do make a difference. And once again, like, perhaps the big thing for me personally is not even the gore in here, believe it or not, but actually the way the combat feels. As I was saying multiple times, even in the very beginning, this one is even more combat focused, and something about the flow of the combat just really works out for me, and I'm just having a good time streaming it and filming for the demonstrations. And I'll be making a commentary video too, which is gonna be more concise. We'll talk about pretty much everything we had here and some more, so yeah. We'll be doing that, and I'll see y'all probably next week. Yeah, I do actually want to stream Kazanos mod for Cyberpunk, which is also like quite a very very impressive mod, so it's gonna be a fun stream. And yeah, see you next Sunday.